Okay guys, this is really important. Bitcoin and Solana are going to start ripping faces any second now. And you know, if you're a veteran of my channel, I don't talk about emergencies hardly ever. I never post emergency thumbnails like 99% of people in the crypto space, but this is really, really big. Literally at the time I'm recording this, Bitcoin has got a volume confirmed breakout on the falling wedge, but that's not what I really want to focus on. If we're coming over to the Bitcoin liquidation map, Bitcoin has just crossed back over 65,000, liquidating over 1.3 billion worth of short positions. Any second now, a massive short covering is going to start taking place. Bitcoin is already squeezing up to 65,400, and we're only about another $500 move away from another $3 billion worth of short liquidations and massive buybacks. As always, it's an update on Bitcoin and Solana. Let's dive right into this. Normally this would be the time where we start off with the news. However, as it's the start of the week and as we made a video 2 days ago, there's no news to cover, so let's dive right into the charts. Starting off on the weekly time frame, you can see we've got a very nice bounce from this parabola line, and we came right back down into the support of the previous all-time highs. On the daily time frame, the swing failure pattern that we detailed for the past couple of weeks also is beautifully playing out, and we've got a lovely V-shaped recovery happening right now. Over on the 12-hour time frame, you can see this swing failure pattern is absolutely beautiful, and we've been hovering around the top of the falling wedge for the past 24 hours or so, and we've just got a breakout with volume confirming the move. Now, very quickly back on the daily time frame, in terms of the EMA ribbons, we have just fired a long position, and it looks like we're heading up to the 50 TMA strategy at 66,500. On the much lower time frames, the really important levels of resistance to break above in the immediate short term were around about this 64,700 to 65,000, and we are tearing through it right now. This is occurring due to a multitude of reasons. We've got the bullish breakouts from the patterns we just talked about. We are just recovering from negative funding fees, which is historically always very bullish and marks bottoms. Last week we had a terrible week for the ETF flows. However, coming in on Friday, we started to get some positive flows coming back, with GBTC ending their somewhat, was it 80-day negative streak to the downside with some positive inflows finally. All of these factors have contributed to Bitcoin's V-shaped recovery thus far, but here's where things get very, very interesting on the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. Like I said at the start of the video, guys, this is no joke. 65,000 we just crossed, and we've just taken out $1.3 billion worth of short positions, which have just bought back into the market. Now, refreshing the liquidation map, as we've just taken all of those positions, you can see 66,000 is the next level to come up to, and it's around about 1.56 billion at this moment in time. This is how much liquidity we can grab probably by the time you're watching this video if Bitcoin comes to 66,000. This was one of the major catalysts I was talking about in my video 2 days ago, saying Bitcoin is up only from here. We looked at the Bitcoin liquidation map, and when we were looking at the liquidation map, we highlighted how there was basically absolutely no liquidity left to grab to the downside on the higher time frames for Bitcoin, but in the higher time frames there was so much liquidity to grab to the upside if Bitcoin does decide to rally, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. With every slight pushback up to the upside, we're taking hundreds of millions of liquidations from shorts. Those short positions are getting liquidated, their positions are having to buy back into spot BTC, which is going to further push the price up, which is further going to cause more people's shorts to get liquidated, which means they're going to have to buy back, which is going to push the price further up, causing a massive short squeeze and liquidation cascade. There were so many confident bears in the past week or so telling you Bitcoin was going to go back down to 40,000, and because of that they got very, very greedy with their short positions, and there's just so much liquidity above us at this moment in time. For example, for Bitcoin to move round about to 72,000, that's going to be about another 9 billion worth of liquidations. And to put that in perspective, we're already pushing strongly above 65,000. Another $7,000 move, which is just over a 10% move, and Bitcoin is going to be taking about $10 billion worth of short squeezed liquidity freshly back into spot BTC. So what do we do now? Enjoy the ride, but of course, let's look at the next price targets to keep your eyes onto the upside. As we discussed in terms of the heat map, 66,000 is going to be very important. If we get back above If we hit $66,000, then we're going to liquidate $1.5 billion worth of longs. That's going to cause some significant buyback pressure, and that's going to allow Bitcoin to easily push back above the 50 TMA at $66,500. Now, in a bull market, in an uptrend, Bitcoin always finds its bottom before getting back above the 50 TMA strategy. However, once you do get back above that 50 TMA strategy and hold it as support, this is often where the bulk of the gains are made in the next leg to the upside. As you can see, bottom was found before we got above the 50 TMA. Once you held it as support, there goes the bulk of the gains. Just like in many instances here, and here, all throughout Bitcoin's current bull run through 2023 to 2024. So right now, keep your eyes on 66. If we come to 66, the level to clear is 66.5. And from there, I have my eyes on the price target of this descending wedge all the way up at 74,000. Now let's move on to altcoins, Solana, but let's segment off the Bitcoin analysis with the BTC dominance. Now, all I really want to say about the Bitcoin dominance is, in my opinion, we are at this kind of capitulation level where Bitcoin is probably going to have outperformed altcoins as much as it is going to in this cycle. And at some point, when this comes down, this is going to lead to Altseason. And this is where I want to share a very interesting chart which depicts that we could potentially be in a crazy Altseason at this moment in time. Coming back to 2025, you can see we had this accumulation phase, which was something like a cup and handle. We broke to the upside, we back tested the breakout level, and from there, the bulk of the gains were made. We had one major correction, and then it was just up in a straight line for altcoins. Over here, you can see in the 2019-2020 bull run, we had a consolidation phase down at the lows, forming this cup-shaped item. We broke to the top of this. I know this is not a cup and handle, but just a cup-shaped item. We broke to the top of this. We came back down, back tested the breakout level, and then we were off to the races. We had one kind of correction which lasted a couple of weeks or so in the red, and then it was pretty much up in a straight line. Now if we come over to the accumulation phase for altcoins, which has been happening in 2023, you can see this same pattern, this cup-shaped item. We broke to the top of this accumulation range. You can just call this a rounding bottom if you want. We broke to the top, we came back down, we back tested, and we shot to the upside. Since then, we've been having a little bit of a correction, a sideways accumulation distribution for the past month or so. And if we come back to each and every cycle, after the retest, you have the initial leg up, you have some slight consolidation before the bulk of the gains are made. Just like we did over here, you had a breakout, retest, then you broke up to the upside, consolidation, and then the bulk of the gains were made. And I think that's exactly where we are right now. I think altcoins are about to see something like this with a massive parabola to the upside. So what does this mean for Solana? Let's dive in on the higher time frames. Now, in terms of what Solana's doing in the higher time frames, it's following exactly what the Ethereum fractal said it would be doing. Right around this time in the previous cycle, Ethereum had just recovered from a post-halving correction, and then it just started booming to the upside. Around about this time is when Ethereum started blasting into new all-time highs, absolutely exceeding them by a multitude, and this is what I think Solana's going to do very, very soon. Obviously, this is in the macro, so give it a couple of months, give it a few weeks or so, whatever you want to think. Over $261 is definitely coming very soon. And this is going to lead us in the macro to my price targets for Solana between $850 and $1,300. Over on the daily time frame, we're getting continuation from that fuck you reversal that we talked about in our previous video. This fuck you reversal is basically a swing failure pattern. I talked about in my previous videos how Solana loves making retail traders think we need to hold this level, otherwise it's over and we're going to go so much lower. What Solana normally does is it holds that level until the last minute, fails to hold it, swing failure pattern, and just does a fuck you reversal and just jeets out all of the weak hands. It did it here, and you can't really see it on this chart on the daily time frame, but it did slightly dip beneath this level, and then it just had a fuck you reversal to the upside. So one catalyst that I think is going to help Solana get further continuation to the upside is, of course, the rest of the altcoin market doing well and the Bitcoin dominance coming down, but also the Solana token-based economy. There are tons of Solana meme coins, ones that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, like this one here, top 16 Solana picks to 100x. Our top number one pick here was VCAT. Now, we talked about this round about $2. We talked about this before at lower price targets, and it's done over a 3x since this video. VCAT is just absolutely tearing faces to the upside right now, and it's like that with a lot of coins. Other coins, like CHONKY, for example, they haven't torn up yet, but they are looking like they're in a very good opportunity to start a alt season very, very soon. So there's just a lot of things that I'm seeing right now for Bitcoin, letting me know Bitcoin is getting ready to tear faces and short squeeze. And for the alt season, it looks like it's right around the corner, guys. And especially for Solana, these Solana token coins are going to start going absolutely crazy. Lastly, on the weekly for Solana, I do want to just reinstate, I don't really have too many major price targets in the lower time frames for Solana, because I think Bitcoin had a very strong V-shaped recovery recently, and I think with these short squeezes, and I think with positive flows coming back to the ETFs, that Solana could have something very similar and have a V-shaped recovery. So in the immediate short term, believe it or not, I have my eyes back on $200. Nothing in between of any significance. Once we get above that level, there's nothing in the way of us coming up and making new all-time highs above $260. So for today, my friends, that's pretty much all I've got. Remember the actionables, as always, every week. Start mining grass if you haven't already. I think Deepin, especially built on top of Solana, is going to be very big this cycle. This is passive income. You can just start mining this for free. Referrals down below. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you get the Solana Chapter 2 mobile. When the alt season comes back, and especially when altcoins just start tearing faces on Solana, there's going to be so many airdrops for the Solana Chapter 2. I've already made a thread about this. I've already talked about this so many times. We've already got like $650 worth of airdrops just from being early on the Solana Chapter 2. It's going to keep on happening, guys. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash like on the way out. See you on the next one. There's probably going to be another video announcement, new project type video coming either later today or tomorrow. As always, smash like on your way out. See you on the next one. Peace.